Hi, I'm an iPhone 15 Pro user. But last week, I bought a Galaxy S24 Ultra and I wanted to document my experience in 4 review episodes rather than 1. Because with other YouTubers, they only get to use the S24 Ultra for a week or less, then they make a review. But in my opinion, that's not enough time to really get to know a product. This will be episode 1 of my S24 Ultra review, and we will be talking about my initial thoughts. That includes setting up the phone and the difference that I see compared to an iPhone 15 Pro. On episode 2, we will review the camera in comparison to the iPhone 15 Pro. Episode 3, we will have the full review since at this time, I should have used the phone for about a month. And finally, episode 4, I will be going back to my iPhone to tell you what features I missed the most on the Galaxy S24. Because, as the song goes, you don't know what you want till it's gone. Anyway, this is part 1 of my Galaxy S24 Ultra review, my initial thoughts. If you haven't seen my unboxing short yet, I uploaded that a week ago, so I have been using this phone for more than a week now, and man, what an experience. First, the unboxing and hardware. Man, this phone is beautiful, no doubt. Ever since the Galaxy S6, I believe, Samsung has been killing it in the hardware department. The S24 Ultra has a boxy design and corners, which I don't really mind. It exudes a more professional and productive energy in my opinion. But of course, the trade-off is that the corners are not exactly comfortable to hold because they dig into your hand. The yellow color of the S24 Ultra is more of a pale yellow that is both classy and jewelry-like. As for the 5 holes right here, I don't really mind how the camera lenses look. I think they look good. What I mind though are the buttons here on the side. I don't like how they're all placed on one side. I often accidentally press another button if I want to either lock the phone or change my volume. So to me, having them in different sides is more ideal. And then we have the setup process. And this is a nightmare. I'm sorry, Samsung fans, but I really hated the setup process. It's just that there's so many things to log in and set up, and I feel there's a lot of duplication in terms of apps and login that I need to do. Because there's Samsung's own apps, and then there's Google apps for Android. And of course, I want to experience everything and use the phone to its full potential, so I had to sign up on all those things. And then there's the password situation. So I've been using Google Chrome for a bit of time, so most of my passwords are stored there, but I've never figured out why on some apps Google Password Manager recommends passwords, and on some apps or logins it just doesn't. On iPhones, this rarely happens. The keyboard 95% of the time recommends passwords, so that annoyed me a lot because I have to manually input a lot of my passwords. And they're quite complicated as well. Now, it doesn't happen too often now since I have my apps logged in and I can use Biometrics now, but when it happens, it's just quite annoying. And then I started using the phone itself. The very first thing I do with phones is usually go to settings, and of course, being in new OS, I was lost. And I think it's just a matter of familiarity. I mean, even iOS settings app is also a nightmare to use. So I think our phones just have too much functionalities now that it's impossible to have a simple settings app. And to be fair, the search functionality is actually pretty good on the settings app, so that helps a lot. I also logged in my biometrics. In this case, Samsung has both facial and fingerprint scanner. For facial recognition, it's not as complex as Apple's because it just uses the camera and not infrared lights, meaning it will not be as secured as Face ID. And during the nighttime, it's not gonna be usable since it needs to see your face. And then we have the fingerprint scanner. Look guys, I'm not a fan of fingerprint scanners. Why? My finger has very shallow grooves that fingerprint scanners have a tough time scanning. Especially when the screen gets dirty, it's impossible to get a good scan. But with Samsung, that is not the situation. This fingerprint scanner is a work of art. It's incredibly consistent. For one, they don't use an optical sensor to scan your fingerprint, meaning they don't rely on taking a picture to scan your fingerprint. They use what's called an ultrasonic sensor, which uses ultrasonic waves to capture the grooves of your fingerprint, which results in a more accurate and consistent scan. What does ultrasonic waves actually mean? I really don't know. I think it's kind of like radio waves, but I love it. This is totally better than Touch ID. This is the best fingerprint scanner I've used so far. You know what? We're in a good mood, so let's keep the pros rolling. The camera. There are 2 things that I experienced and love about the camera. One, the built-in document scanning feature. I tried taking a picture of my passport and that's usually difficult because it has reflections on it. But I used both my iPhone and S24 Ultra, and the S24 Ultra did it much better. Number two, the 100x zoom. I have poor vision. Despite LASIK, I can't seem to read words just as well as others, so I resort to using my phone's zoom to help me out. And the S24 Ultra works wonderfully for this. There's actually one time we were at BIR and there's a long wait time. We were number 23 and the queue is just number 3. So we went to the other side of a 6-lane road at Starbucks to wait and stay there. Now, Starbucks are usually built with glass walls, right? So you can see the TV where the queue is at, but it's quite far away. But with the Galaxy S24 Ultra, you can take a picture and clearly see the number, while on the iPhone, not so much. I'm not reviewing the camera today since I need to analyze all the comparison shots I've made, so please stay tuned to part 2 of this review. Next, I'm just gonna speed through some of the things that I love using this phone. First, RCS. I just love that I can text my mom and get delivery receipts, typing notifications, and send images right on the Messages app. Also, it has a built-in spam detection that's super helpful, especially now that Filipino phone numbers seem to have leaked or were sold by someone. Everyone just gets spam messages now. Ironically enough though, while I was writing this script, I just found out I was using Google's Messages app rather than Samsung's Messages app. So these features are credited to Google rather than Samsung, and that just kind of proves my point where the phone is bloated with duplicate apps. I didn't know that I wasn't using Samsung's own apps. Second, the Samsung keyboard. I did not feel the need to change the keyboard to Gboard or something else because the built-in keyboard is awesome. It's simple, it's useful, and the grammar and AI features are quite helpful. I also love the clipboard feature where it takes note everything I copy. The iPhone keyboard needs to take note of that. For the reflectivity of the phone, a lot of reviews mention this, and it's great. I wish all my devices are like this. Here's the thing though, once you put a screen protector here, that advantage goes away. So that's a thing you need to keep in mind if you want that feature. Fourth, it's very easy to switch preferred SIM to use on cellular data, calls, and text since it's only on the notification center. Love that. I've also tried DeX for a bit and I think it's awesome. If you don't have a laptop, this can certainly replace it for simple computing tasks like editing Word documents or watching movies on a big screen. I also love Android Swipe Anywhere from the side to go back. It's really convenient. Next, you can send files via Bluetooth. Let me repeat that. You can send files via Bluetooth. I totally forgot that you can do this because I got so used to the iPhone. But this literally saved us when we were at the City Hall, so I have to mention it here. Finally, the S Pen. It's not for everyone, but I appreciate it every now and then using it, especially when I need to be productive and make fine selections. It's really great. And now it's time for the cons. So I've mentioned some cons a while ago, like many things to set up and log in, the password situation, and the duplicate apps. But besides that, I have a few more. First, no MagSafe or Qi2. I'm very deep into the MagSafe ecosystem. I think it's a great feature. My wireless charger, it's MagSafe. My car charger, it's MagSafe. My wallet, MagSafe. My power banks, MagSafe. So the Galaxy S24 Ultra not having Qi2 or MagSafe is a big loss in my opinion. Good thing case manufacturers are putting MagSafe onto their S24 Ultra cases. For example, Pitaka's Mag Easy Case 4, even though it's super light and thin, it still has a strong MagSafe on it. Link in the description to check it out. Second, the camera viewfinder. So when you open the app and point it at something, you'll be confused, like, huh? Why is the image quality so bad? And then you take the picture, it's actually good. But what the viewfinder shows is so far off from what the actual picture would turn out. It's not confidence inspiring on the camera quality knowing this, and it's hard to know if your settings are actually right, not unless you take the picture and look at the picture itself. Third, the UI smoothness. Even though this has the best of the best hardware, you still experience stutter, and the animations are not the smoothest. It has been how many years now, and Android manufacturers just can't get this right. I'm really disappointed here, and it's actually one of the reasons why I refrain from switching to Android. Next is the speaker. I actually use phone speakers quite often, and I'm sad to say that the speaker here is very disappointing considering the phone's price point. Listen to this. It's very lacking on the mids and bass department in comparison to the iPhone 15 Pro, so the end result is it sounds very tinny. Whether it's music, YouTube videos, movies, it's not a great sound. Next is the browser. I like the Samsung browser for being able to put the address bar at the bottom for easy reachability. What I don't like is that I can't autofill my passwords from Google Password Manager, so I switched to Chrome. But on Chrome, you can't put the address bar at the bottom, which is ironic because Chrome for iOS can do that. Why can't Chrome for Android, being the same company Google, make features for their own OS? And that just shows the very chaotic nature of Android. It's just messy. There's no centralization and it's really puzzling. Another one is OTPs. Android implemented ways for OTPs to autofill. The only thing is, it's hit or miss. Sometimes it autofills, most of the time it doesn't. Then I have to copy the code from the notifications, which at least they provide a shortcut to do so, but why can't it be just consistent? And there's a lot more annoying little things like the SIM ejector hole being next to the microphone hole, which there's a big chance people would poke the wrong hole. There's no tap the top to go to the top, and finally, no measure app, which is something I always use on the iPhone. So these are all the pros and cons that stood out to me using it for a week or more. And again, these are only my initial impressions. If you agree or have any tips for me, please leave them in the comments below. And if you want me to test anything, let me know as well. Alright, that's everything we have for this episode. Shout out to Justin for following me on Instagram. If you'd like to have a shout out as well, please follow me on my socials, okay? Thanks for watching. This has been Marian, your technology friend, and I'll see you on my next video.